Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, March 11th, 2026, which happens to be my special day. But here I am, I'm going to provide the recap because still gotta do what I gotta do. Anyways, we start off with Chanel and Johnny. So they are celebrating because they're officially becoming a family, legally with Trey and everything is coming together. Now they think about how they're going to celebrate. They're going to do something small at the pub, so they agree to do that. At some point, Johnny, he does end up going to work to take care of a few things, and they do meet up back to talk about his relationship with his father, which I was surprised at Chanel's reaction. We'll get into that at some point. Paulina comes over to Chanel to just really vent to her because she's struggling with her conscience on what to do. We already know it's because of her finding out that Lexi can possibly be brought back to the living, and she's wrestling with that because of how it may affect her own relationship with Abe. And then also, if she doesn't do it, it's still gonna affect their relationship with Abe and also Theo, because again, that is a loved one of theirs. So she struggled with that. She didn't tell Chanel the details. However, Chanel tells her some sage advice about going with your gut feeling, going with what is your conscience, right? What is really right to do at the end of the day. So she accepts it. She thanks her for that as well. And yeah, that was really their conversation. So back with Johnny now. He is doing some work at the office, and EJ comes over, and he's just there because he misses his son. He just wants to see how he's doing, and Johnny just is very cool with him. Johnny's just straight with him and saying like, I'm okay, is that all there is? So he said that he's there to tell him how proud he is of the work he's doing at the mirror, how proud he is of the man he's becoming. He's a better man than himself, a better father, and a better husband and all that, right? So he gives him his flowers. But also Johnny said to him, EJ was saying to him that as a father, it's very complicated. As a parent, it's very complicated. They're gonna mess up sometimes, and we're not perfect. Now he does tell Johnny that these things tend to happen, but Johnny said that, look, me and Trey are going to be different. He's not going to be mad at me for something that I did do. It's not going to be like our relationship. So anyways, EJ sees that he has the cup on his table, and he can tell that it wasn't welcomed at their home because Chanel is not really fond of EJ. Now Johnny, he tried to get into further detail that he wanted to keep it because it is a part of the family, and he wanted Trey to have something. And he is struggling with that relationship with his father because of his relationship with Chanel and how it may come across to her. Now at some point he leaves, and Chanel comes over because she was done with her errands, and she came over to just say hi to him. She noticed that the cup was there, and she said, it's nice. Where did you get it from? So he said, it's a gift. So she said, where does it come from? It has the Demira family crest on it. So he ended up telling her that it was that gift that they tried to get rid of at the home, that it came from his father. And she wasn't really angry about it this time. She actually said, you know what, I spoke to my mom, and I understand that relationships with our parents are very complicated, and if you want to have a relationship with your father, I'm not going to step in the way of that. So they definitely settled that very good, and I'm definitely happy that Chanel stepped out of the way, because again, it's not her place to really tell her husband if she should have a relationship with his own father. So back at the hospital, Steve is just trying to comfort Kayla, because again, they are not without their daughter for how many days now, weeks, and they're just getting more and more worried about where she could be. Now Kayla leaves because she had to attend to an appointment with Sarah and Xander and their daughter. Now Steve is there talking to Brady, and it's just a surprise that, wow, Brady's not the private investigator, but Brady is using his one brain cell to figure out that it could possibly be not Jeremy. It could possibly be somebody else from 70s past. Now, I'm also shocked that Stephanie also had another traumatic relationship, another troublesome ex. What was his name? I think his last name was Fletcher. I don't know about that relationship, but good gosh, how many exes does Stephanie have? I'm not trying to be judgmental, but how many exes does Stephanie have? Good gosh. But anyways, Brady was the sensible one to come up with what about her relationship with Owen Kent? And then that's when the light bulb went off finally in Steve's head. And Steve is saying, okay, he does remember her relationship, and he can pay a visit to the Kent funeral home to figure out what Owen is up to lately. But I'm just saying, why did it take Brady, not the police department, not her best friend, not Steve, of all people, to remember Stephanie also had a traumatic relationship with Owen as well? Why did it take so long? He's really falling off. He's not, he's losing his edge. But anyways, Kayla comes over and she, overhears their conversation, and she's saying, what about Owen Kent? And they fill her in. So now Steve is about to finally do some digging on his whereabouts. But come on, it had to be Brady to come up with that. And we know Brady's not that sharp. But come on, this is laughable. Now, speaking of Owen was in the lab with where Lexi's being kept, and for some reason EJ comes in and he doesn't recognize that it's actually Owen, or I don't think Owen really made facial contact with EJ, but he said he needed a moment with his sister, and he's talking to his sister about hopefully Paulina makes the right decision so that you can be brought back to us. Owen leaves, and I'm just wondering, does he know that Owen is around? Is this still on the wraps? What's going on there? But anyways, Owen comes back to where he's keeping Stephanie and Jeremy, and he is just surprised to see that they're there holding hands asleep, and he breaks it up and he's like, what do you think you're doing? And he's ruffling Jeremy up, and he goes to Stephanie, and it's like, this can't happen, and blah blah blah. And then Stephanie tries to work her charms and tries to get him on her side, and he falls for it. It's working, and she's kissing him, and disgusting and everything, and she's kissing him, and she is making her way down to his pockets to get the phone out. She finally gets the phone and she calls 911, and she's screaming, help, help, help. And I'm just saying, why she didn't just say Owen Kent or something that the police can work with? But maybe they can use that to pinpoint the reception tower, the cell reception tower, see what's happening there. But I don't know if it's going nowhere. Now Owen is going to get more dangerous. Then you have Xander and Sarah, who are, staying the night because they're watching over their daughter, who's recovering from pneumonia, or what is now concluded to be first signs of asthma. Now, Xander would have given anything previously to just spend the night with her and everything, and he's trying to get closer to her because of what happened with their daughter, but Sarah is trying to put up boundaries, or trying to put up fences around that, because again, it's really about their daughter. And she did tell him that he can leave now because she took the day off, she can stay with their daughter. And he felt offended by that, because he's saying you're trying to push me away, I'm trying to be there for my daughter, I'm trying to play by your rules and all of that. And she says, not like that, I mean, we can take turns. Now he's getting in his feelings about it all, and she said, maybe we need to revisit this custody arrangement. And he said, why are you dangling that over my head? Is it because I'm not behaving according to your terms and all of that? And I'm telling you, I'm going to therapy and doing what I need to do for her daughter. And she says, nothing like that. It's not I just want you to just understand what it is, what our boundaries is, all of that. Now at some point, Kayla did come and examine the child and tell them that she will be good, she's just experiencing asthma. They do express sentiments towards her, what she's going through with her own daughter. And Kayla treating their daughter just makes her think about Stephanie when she was younger and all of that. Now, at some point, she did wonder where the sweet bits pastry came from. So they said it wasn't from him. So it turns out that it was Brady, who did see them together looking close. And, she was saying, why didn't you come? And, I could have used you here. And he said he didn't want to interrupt. And she said, you should have. And all of that. So he came after Xander left as well. And I'm just saying, let's see what this triangle is about. Now, Paulina made her way over to EJ's place, and EJ was saying, you want something to drink? So she said, no, I needed to be in my right faculty to really make this statement. So she said she think long and hard about everything that she's seen, that she's encountered, and as hard as it is, she is going to go with letting Lexi live, let EJ carry on with his operations. EJ was even saying to her, like, this wouldn't have to be hard if you didn't poke your nose into my business. But she said it's too late already, so I'm allowing you to go ahead with it against my better judgment. So that's where it really ended on today's episode. But I mean, that was surprising, but yeah, let's see how this rolls. But anyways, guys, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys on the next recap.